Hello, Cruising World. Mick the Suit Guy with you. It's Monday. Monday is Tips Day. And this week, I have my pros. Next week, I'll have my cons of our recent cruise on Norwegian Star. Now, we went out of Iceland on a 10-day cruise from Reykjavik, around some ports in Iceland, and then on to Greenland, and then back to Reykjavik again. We tried doing this on Carnival a couple of years ago, and weather stopped us from getting there. Weather... That's another story for another time, but we actually made it this time. We got to all the ports. So I'll be doing videos on all the different ports coming up over the next weeks. Probably already started by the time this one comes out. But I wanted to just talk about what I liked and didn't like about the actual ship on this one, not the ports. Ports were great. Iceland better than Greenland, but this is about the actual ship. So it was our first Norwegian cruise. The Norwegian Star is an older ship, but smaller ship as well. I just want to give you my input on what I thought was good and what was bad, and I want to clarify that these are just my opinions. Some people may love this ship. I didn't, as you'll find out. A lot more cons than pros for me, but everybody's entitled to their opinion, and that is what this is, just my opinion. It may be for you, but I'm going to give you what I liked, what I didn't like, and then you go from that. And also, before this comes out, I should have a full ship tour up, so you can watch the video of that as well. I'll put that link in the comments, so you can see that tour and you can see what I'm talking about, maybe. Okay, so this week the pros, next week the cons. So let me give you the pros. Karaoke was great. Anybody that knows me knows I love my karaoke, and it was always in the one bar, the whiskey bar, every night of the cruise. And then we had a karaoke competition, which somehow I qualified for, and I was a complete disaster. But we had a really tight group, regular group up there every night. The hosts were great. Everything was fun. Karaoke, to me, was the best part of the whole cruise. Not just being biased because I love karaoke. Other people probably liked other things. But to me, the karaoke was great. Because basically around the ship there was nothing else to do, which I'll talk more about next week on my cons. But like I said, we had a really good group of people. At the end of the week, we all got up and sang a song together, and then we said goodbye, and it was fun. So, pro karaoke. Pro. I thought I'd put that up first, just because anybody that knows me knows my love of karaoke and my despicable talent at it. The food in the main dining room was overall pretty good. We were quite surprised. A lot of cruises lately, I won't go in the main dining room. But this week, yeah, it was pretty good. So we actually enjoyed the main dining room for food. We probably ate there at least 5 times, which I would not normally do. I do a lot more specialty dining. Although the longer the cruise went, the slower the service got for some reason. I don't know. They also had O'Sheehan's, which is an Irish bar/restaurant. We went there for breakfast because they did an English breakfast. It was close to an English breakfast, but they didn't have English bacon, and they give you a ramekin of beans. It was like there was probably 10 beans in the ramekin, which is quite funny. But it was decent. It was overall it was good. But a lot of the food was okay. A lot of the food was substandard. But I got to say, the food in the main dining room was better than I expected it to be. As far as the specialty restaurants go, it's a tough one because for a small ship, they had a lot of specialty restaurants. But I don't think they were that great. Certainly, the Italian was not good for the money you paid. We went to the steakhouse, was okay. We did the teppanyaki. They didn't have lobster. You could have lobster for $25 more. I noticed that around the ship. There's no formal nights on this ship. So there's no lobster night, no nothing. So yeah, no lobster. And I don't really care about that because I don't eat lobster, but I know a lot of people like lobster. We went to a restaurant called Ginza, which was an Asian restaurant. That was okay. That was probably value for money in that one. But overall, I felt like, and this is going to be a really weird statement to make, even Carnival specialty restaurants were better than this one. But it's a smaller ship, and the fact that they had so many specialty restaurants was pretty impressive for a small ship. Definitely, Celebrity and Virgin's restaurants were better. Probably, actually, and I should have put this at the top of the list, the biggest pro was the unlimited drinks. And we've experienced this on other cruise lines as well, Celebrity, Royal. It's so great not having to sign for a drink, and they just keep putting drinks out in front of you. It's a major pro. I gotta think though that maybe for the crew it's not quite as good, because, and I'm only comparing this to one thing, and this is nitpicking, but like on Carnival cruise, when you sign for it, you have the option to add an extra tip on. Or you can put another dollar when you sign it and hand it back to them. When the bartenders are basically just giving you a drink and walking away, you don't get the opportunity much to do that. So, so again, you don't sign, so there's no way to add extra tips. The only way is to give them cash. And we gave them some of our favorite ones at the end of the week. We gave some cash. But the unlimited drinks is pretty damn good. And the funny thing is, I don't think we came close to 15 drinks, and I've talked about this before on Carnival, you have like a challenge to get to 15. You don't have a challenge on unlimited drinks, so you tend not to drink as much. I will also say this, and this is a con, but I'll get to that next week, but on here. Don't always go by the list of drinks on their website, because the list of the drinks they showed on their website, beers especially, was totally different than what we had, which is very possibly because of where we were. But, take that for granted. But it was fine. The no signing unlimited drinks was brilliant. And also another really good thing we found, they give you like a incentive to come back. If you buy a $250 voucher, and on your next cruise, you'll get $500 on board credit. So basically, you're getting $250 on board credit for free. And it didn't matter when you used it, it didn't expire, and you could use it like on a 3-day cruise. Plus, if you're a first-time cruiser, they gave you one for free. So basically, you buy one, you get one. So we bought one for $250, and we now have $1,000 on board credit. And you can use that on the same cruise if you book it under one of their promotions called Double Up. So you just have to look for a Double Up promotion. I'm a little bit wary as to whether the actual cruise cost may be jacked up on a Double Up promotion. I'll have to check that. But we could basically go on a 3-day cruise with $1,000 on board credit if we wanted to. So despite all the negative things I'm going to say about Norwegian, it may be very unfair for me to judge them on this cruise. And a lot of people have told me they love Norwegian. So we are going to try again on a newer ship and see if it's different. You can judge more on my thoughts on my cons next week. That's not clickbait. That's just stretching that content so I have it. It's very different. But again, $250, you get they'll match it onboard credit on a future cruise, any length, any time, no expiry date. First time cruises, you get a BOGO. I love me a BOGO. Publix every Thursday. If you know, you know. So yeah, but don't forget that Double Up offer is what you need to do. I also like they had a different game. Julie went to the show, said the shows were pretty good. We've been doing a Deal or No Deal for a long time on various cruise lines, but they also had Wheel of Fortune on this one. You can play along on your phone. There'll be 3 contestants go up. They have 4 rounds, and within each round on your phone, you've got to try and work out what the word is, and the quickest person to get the word from the audience gets a prize. I came second twice, third once, and fourth once. And you also get to play along on your phone as well as that. So basically, it was quite expensive though. $59 for 3 cards, or whatever it was. No, 10 cards. It doesn't matter. What I didn't like about it was that when you got to the end of the round, it didn't take your best card. It took the average of all of your cards. So the more cards you bought, the more chance you had of having a couple of really bad ones that would bring your average all the way down, which is what happened to me. So the first 10 people got a prize. I was in like 7th, 8th place for the first 3 rounds. And then in the 10th round, I had a couple of really bad cards that dropped my average all the way down, and I dropped way off the leaderboard, which I thought was a bit strange. It should be your best card, but it's the average of all your cards, so be aware of that. They have a comic card at dinner, which I thought was a nice touch, especially if things are going well. You can write nice things about your server, service, and stuff like that. We did that a couple of times, and you can leave it for them so their bosses will see it. Anytime you can give good feedback on crew members, I know they really appreciate it, and they do work really hard on every cruise ship as they do Carnival, Norwegian, doesn't matter. So anytime you can give immediate feedback to your server just by writing that card out, it's great. So if you're on Norwegian, bring a pen. Another thing, and it's just a thing. Judy liked it, I was indifferent on it, but in the buffet at your table, they have just basically a pyramid of silverware. So you don't have to pick one up when you get your food. They'll be on your table waiting for you, and they constantly top them up. So you just sit down, grab one, and use that. And it's on every table. So for what it's worth, they had that on there. I thought that was quite a nice touch. They have a real poker table. It's great if you have players, because on this cruise, on the sea days, they had a poker tournament every day. Needed 6 people, $100 a person. Day one we did it. I got fifth. I got fifth. My friend Chuck got third. He close, but that was the only day they did it, because the next day only one person showed up. If you're a poker player, this will make a lot of sense to you. I think the main reason is the blinds were ridiculous. You got 2,000 chips, and it started out 100, 200. And then after the first 15 minutes, there was a $200 ante. So that's pretty crazy if you understand poker, to have $200 blinds and you've only got 2,000 chips, or 200 chip blinds, 2,000 chips to start with. From the very beginning. So they want you in and out, I guess. But overall, the casino on this cruise was really quiet compared to what I've seen. Hence, it wasn't too smoky. But that's mainly because there was never anybody in there. So yeah, it was just that sort of crowd. Tablecloths. It's a tough one for me, because a lot of people love their tablecloths. They have the tablecloths, not in the buffet, in the main dining room. They had tablecloths. I thought to myself, this could be a pro or a con depending on your thoughts. Personally, I don't care for them, because I know how much hassle it is having to constantly take them off, clean them, put them back after every person sits, and it slows down service because you can't clean the table off and get it ready for the next person as quickly as you could otherwise. Plus, I'm not one of these about the environment, but it's a thing. Look how many of those they have to wash every day. So I'm not a big fan of tablecloths being out. I know a lot of people are, but if you are, good news for you, because they have tablecloths on Norwegian. Also, they had a few vending machines around the ship where you could get medicines and similar stuff like that 24/7. Plus, in the shops, things like snacks I felt were a better choice than, say, on Carnival, for example. But the vending machines were a nice touch. You could get all sorts of things whenever you need it. Including condoms, which I thought was quite interesting, because certainly on this ship, I don't think they sold many of them. We'll leave that one there. And here's the last one I'll leave you with on the real pros. There's a lot of cons coming up next week. And I don't think they do this on other cruise lines. If they do, correct me, apologies. But they had a channel on this ship, it was channel 12, where if you put that on in the room, you could hear announcements. You know, sometimes you hear announcements in the corridor and you're in your room, they don't come out in your room. You can't really hear them, but sometimes you want to. So half the time you're ear at the door listening. Well, if you put it on News Channel 12, on Channel 12, not News Channel, Channel 12 in this room, the announcements will come out in your room if you want to. So that's quite a lot of pros, right? Wait till you hear the cons. Next week, not clickbait, spreading it out. So there's a 2-episode series. Episode 1 is in the books. Episode 2 is coming. And I can't stress enough, these are my opinions. Everybody is different. And this is an older ship. So when I do one of the newer ones, I think we're probably looking at something like the Prima next time. Maybe I'll have completely different input. But tell me what you think about Royal in the comments. Email me what you think about Royal in the comments. I'm not slamming Royal, because Norwegian. Oh dear. I'm not slamming Norwegian, but I just didn't enjoy the ship, as you'll find about next week. How's that for a teaser? That might be considered clickbait. And I pride myself in not doing clickbait. I'm not going to do it. Anyways, subscribe if you want to see more of these videos. Every Monday, I either do a tips or a review of the cruise I went on, or if you went on a cruise, send me your review of the cruise, send me your tips in general on different cruise lines, doesn't matter what the cruise line is. And also, if you have any questions, my email is coming up, so feel free to ask me. With that, until next week, we'll see you later, Cruising World. Well, thanks for watching. Don't forget, subscribe, hit that bell, and you'll get notifications when new videos come out. And don't forget, Click on the links to the left and right of me. You can watch playlists, new video suggestions, and more. Any questions? Email me, cruisingsuitguy@gmail.com. And don't forget, I'm a travel agent. Email for help.